I rode my bike smack into a tree. I banged up my left elbow, skinned up my right knee. I ran home to mama, tears streaming down my face. She held me tight and just like that, the hurt all went away. Faster than a teardrop, love can make the pain stop. Quicker than a heart breaks, love can stop a heartache. It's the best medicine, no matter what shape you're in. Love can make the pain stop, faster than a teardrop. All right.
Oh, hello.
Welcome, everybody. It is time for another episode of Two Pastors, Their Guests, Keeping It Real. And so I'm your host, Brian Callies with Callies Ministries. I have an amazing guest for us tonight. But let me tell you real quickly. So my co-host, Charles Matthews, who is normally on with you, and you guys know and love, unfortunately, he had a family emergency today. So let's give some prayers out for Charles and his family. And that meant his father that was going to be on the show with us tonight, which is also a veteran, is not able to show. So let's give a quick prayer and shout out and remembrance to Charles and his father. And we will bring him back on the show at another time. So, we have another one of my wonderful dear friends with us today. And so I have Ezell-Turner. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Ezell-Turner. So Telise is a wonderful, wonderful woman. So today is Memorial Day. Remember that. So we wanted to make sure we brought Telise on today to talk a little bit about this. So you're talking to one of the most accomplished women I've ever met. So she has 23 years in the United States Army nursing, but nursing on a really awesome level, y'all. So when you're nursing in the Army, it's a whole different level, I'm sure, than what we're used to. And so she gave her heart and her time and her life for 23 years. And I just want to thank you for that, number one. And number two, then after that, she's a true leader. So she's done so many other things that couple that. And I'll let her give a little introduction about some of the things she's done. I know her, though, from the Memphis Rotary Club. So our Memphis Rotary Club is Memphis Central Rotary. And so she right now is the president of the Memphis Central Rotary Club, which I've been blessed to be a part of now. So, hello, Telise. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Brian. How are you?
So excited and honored that you showed up on the show today, and you get to.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, tell us a little bit real quickly. So I only covered a very small topic or a part of your awesome itinerary of things that you do, especially now that you're out of the Army. So tell us a few of those things, if you would.
Well, I did join the Army at an older age, I would say, in 1991, and spent 23 years there. And it was quite exciting. I had finished college, had 3 children at the time, and had lost a husband.
Wow.
And the reason I joined the military is because of I had a child that all he wanted to do was be a soldier. And as a mother, you always want to make sure that when you have a child that's involved with some things, you want to be as knowledgeable as you can. So what I did, I went down to the recruiting station and asked for some information. And at that time, I was recruited.
I'm sorry, just one second. Are you getting a call in maybe or something? Your video went out on us.
It looks like I'm getting, let me see.
Just want to make sure we can get you on video there. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm over here in my lovely neighborhood that I love, Fraser. We do not get a whole lot of great internet over here. Our broadband is
from here.
And it knocks us out completely. But as I was stating, I was inducted into the military and got involved because of my son. Did 23 years. He's also retired. He retired 2 years after I did, and
Okay.
he did 20 years. It was quite interesting. I have been all over the world. I did a lot of traveling and being at Ramstein, in Ramstein, Germany, and Lamster Regional Medical Center there. I spent about 10 years over in Germany. Walter Reed, Eisenhower in Georgia, just been all over the world. Spent some time in Hawaii and came back home and did some time at the VA Medical Center. After that, I started doing other things in the community and have been involved with the police department, with the Old Allen Station Ambassador Program. I'm also have been involved with politics a little bit, where I have been the vice president of the Tennessee Federation of Democratic Women. And right now, as Brian stated, I am the president of Rotary Club. All of these institutions and all of my worldly, I guess, duties has always involved with taking care of others. Mm-hmm. And everything that I have done and everything that I feel that I should be doing should be involved in taking care of others. Amen. So that's my story. I could tell you a whole lot more since I do have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, but that's another program later on down the road, Brian.
Well, that's just, y'all, that's just the icing on the cake of some of the things that God's blessed her to be able to do. And the thing that's impressed me so much is that you constantly give back. You're not, most people when they retire, they kick back and relax. And that seems like the opposite of what you do. And you are always got your hands into doing something to help somebody. And I give you.
That's what God has put me on this earth for.
Amen. Amen.
And so many others, like you are a person that gives. And if we're not learning and giving daily, we're not living up to what God has put us on this earth for. I mean, I can complain and tell all the aches and pains that I may have and say I can't get up out the bed, but that's not what God has directed me to do. I have to get up out the bed and I have to move. And this situation we're in right now is really kind of working my nerves because usually
you're talking about the COVID thing?
Yes. I know that the directions that have been put out are very important because those are the things that I would be telling and are telling my family members to do: the mask, social distancing, wearing your gloves, washing your hands, all of those things. And
you're for all those things?
I am for every last one of them. Every last one of them. I was wearing a mask 2 years before this happened. And the air quality on airplanes and trains are just not good. So I started wearing masks anytime that I travel. And I have been doing quite a bit of traveling since I left the military and retired. Mm-hmm. I've been to Portuguese, New Zealand, Paris, Greece, back over to Germany, just been doing a lot of traveling, overseas traveling. And you have those long trips and just the air quality is not good. And I have been encouraging quite a few of the young ladies that travel with me to make sure that they have a mask with them.
Oh, good.
With this virus that has come on, we have talked about it. And they would say, Telise, you've been telling us for years about these masks and we need to put masks on. And I think we will be wearing masks.
You've been saying that for years, huh?
Yes, after this, we will. So I think the directions that everyone has given us and about the mask, hand washing and things that we should have been doing all the time.
Wow.
It's come to light that we should be following those directions.
Y'all heard that from nurses.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
I said y'all heard that from the nurse's point of view. So from the
Yes.
real
Yes.
nurse,
Yes.
a military level nurse for 20
Yes.
year nurse. So she
Yes.
knows what she's talking about. She's qualified for that. So, and I didn't, I always thought we need to improve some. I didn't know it was ever going to get to this level,
Yeah.
having to wear masks like today. Even I had to go finally get a little bit of running around time today.
Hmm.
And so I was happy to see that people are actually adhering to that, because a
I
couple
am
weeks
too.
ago they weren't,
I am too.
from my point of view, they weren't at all. But
I have not been out, didn't go out today, and I haven't been out since last Friday. But I was a little upset about in some of the areas they were not wearing masks, and I had been taking extra masks with me. When I did see individuals that did not have masks, I would give them one. And I said,
oh,
if I'm giving
really?
you this mask, I want you to wear it. And
Awesome. I love it.
they just told me, they said, well, we just didn't have one, or the one we had is dirty. So I said, you have two now. You can wash that one and wear this one. When that one is dried out, you can swap up.
I love it. I love it. Well, I do want to thank you so much for all that you do to try to help keep us safe. So I'm a little interested. So today is Memorial Day.
Yes, it is.
And I would imagine you probably have friends or relatives even that might have, died in the line of duty of trying to serve and protect this country.
Yes.
And I just don't take that lightly at all. I mean, people that have died to keep me safe, to keep my family safe, to give me the freedoms that I can have, all these kind of
Yeah.
things. They gave us the ultra sacrifice, some of them, to literally lay down their life just for me, for my
That's
freedom, my protection. That is tremendous. That's
right.
amazing.
And
So,
these young men and older people, because I thought I was a little older when I went in, and some people look at them like they can't do any better, and that's the reason they joined the military. But
mm,
that's not true. I had my college degree when I joined,
mhm.
and I know several of the nurses, um, got their degrees before they joined the military.
Really?
Uh,
Okay.
one, the ones that did not get their degrees, they have several options where they can go back and get their degrees once you join the military with the GI Bill, and it's a pretty good thing that they give for the
Mhm.
younger people. But those individuals believe in this country, believe in people, and they believe in all the rights and good things that United States have. And when you hold your hand up and take that oath, you're holding your hand up to tell everyone, I believe in my country. And this is my country. No matter what's going on right now, I tell everyone, this is still our country. We have to believe in our country, and we have to be proud of our country. So the young people, some of them don't understand. Some of the older people don't understand, but traveling all over the world, and you see what other people are going through, and we just take certain things for granted, and we do take a lot of things for granted. When you travel, you see how wonderful your country is and how wonderful the rules and regulations that we have in place are. And they're in place to make our surroundings better. And a lot of people just don't understand that. So I try to preach it all the time, but sometimes they said, okay, this old lady is preaching, but I feel like that our younger generation need to understand that it's not like it is here, like here in 2770 Mayhew, where I can go out, get in my car and drive wherever I need to drive, or go to the grocery store and purchase whatever I want to purchase, or go around to McDonald's and get me a hamburger. That's not how it is in this world, in other parts of the world. So we need to be thankful.
Yeah, we
Well,
are really, really privileged where we
yeah,
are to be able to do.
yeah,
I mean, we've got so many freedoms. You could just, a lot of countries probably don't even compare to that, I wouldn't think.
right,
And I
right.
haven't really been around, I went to Hawaii. I guess that doesn't really count, right? Because it's still the United States. But
It counts. And if you go to Hawaii, you see some differences too. I've been
yes,
to Hawaii, and there are some differences that it is here in the States. And Hawaii is part of United States, but there is some difference, quite a
well,
bit difference.
that's true. Ended up doing our honeymoon over there in Hawaii, and
Okay.
really loved it. Of course, it was really amazing place. But my wife, you mentioned Germany earlier. It turns out my wife Alinda, she was born in Germany.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
her dad was in the army, and I couldn't get dad to come on the show with us. He's just way too shy for that, I guess. But
Okay.
amazing guy, and so while he was in the army, he was stationed obviously in Germany, and so
Yes.
she was born. She was born in a little army hospital, I guess. So,
Uh-huh.
so she'd had some wonderful ladies like you.
Probably Longstone Regional Medical Center.
Hey, look at you. And so, and I have never taken her over to go check that out. I think that would really be a fun trip, is to take her back to Germany. And
Yeah.
now she left when she was a baby. So, she didn't get to learn any language or anything, but
Uh-huh.
it's always kind of neat to hear that. So,
And I think I enjoyed Germany. Germany was one of the countries that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the people there, and they really like, and what they appear to like, Americans there. I have went to Paris, and I don't think they like us very much over there. But Germany really, really likes us. So
really, if Germany likes United States. Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, they like the people. Well, I had a wonderful time in Germany. Let me say, the time I was there, I enjoyed it, and they treated me well, treated me very well. The
Wonderful,
people.
wonderful. That's awesome. So we have another special thing that today is about, and I wanted to do a little bit early. So let's do our quick shout out for today is National Missing Child Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a little short video that I was gonna give thanks to Brenda, Brenda Fleming. She's one of the ones on our team that helps us with our social media stuff. But I wanted to do a quick shout out to that. So if you can give me just a second, let me do a quick shout out. So our charity spotlight is going to be Saving Lost Kids, and let me take you guys to Saving Lost Kids so I can just introduce it to you. If you're new to the show, you're I'm going to give you an introduction here, but now if you're not, this is the show, this is the charity that Charles and I, my normal co-host who's on today, we normally support and push and promote Saving Lost Kids. So that's our missing, exploited, and sex trafficking, and trying to put an end to all that nonsense, all those bad things that happen to kids. A lot of it's avoidable if we prevent it. So that's our Saving Lost Kids side. And we also have another side called USISB, and that's our missing children, sex trafficking, rescue and search and rescue for missing exploited kids. And so we have both sides of those equations, but we want to try to, if we can, keep it in the Saving Lost Kids category. So let me show you guys this video real quickly. And let me make sure I got this shared correctly here. This is right now Zoom, since we're trying to do this and not go into the studios. So hopefully I got all this correct here. So wonderful job, Brenda. Thank you so much for that video. That's on our website. So savinglostkids.org, savinglostkids.org. If you're interested in learning more about how to keep your child safe and how to prevent all those dangers, please visit savinglostkids.org or give us a call, 800-308-0607. And we would love to have you if you'd like to be a donor and try to support that. Again, today is National Missing Child Day. So let's make a difference in that world. We'd love for you to be a partner with us. So very, very easy. Just text SLK. It's real simple. Saving Lost Kids. Our initials is SLK. So SLK to 41444. If you text that, it'll get you started on how to be a partner. And we'd just love to have you a partner and make a big difference and try to eradicate this whole problem. So anyway, so thank you so much. You are on the show with two pastors, their guests, keeping it real. I'm your host, Brian Callies with Callies Ministries. Got an amazing woman on us with us today, Telise Ezell-Turner. So how do I pronounce that name? I don't think I'm doing that.
Ezell.
Ezell. Forgive me. I've done that twice now. So forgive me.
Okay.
Telise Ezell-Turner. And just an amazing woman, 23 years, retired Army nurse. Also, she's the president of our Memphis Rotary Club. She also is the president of the Ambassadors Club group for the Memphis Police Department, and just a countless amount of others that she's really trying to do is give back and try to do something to be a blessing to everyone around her. So, Telise, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And we're here on a special day. It's Memorial Day, and we were talking a little bit about what that means and some of the people, and we were talking about giving thanks back to some of those who gave us the freedoms that we have now. And she was mentioning how it's not that way in other countries all the time. So, and how we have some really special privileges here in the United States. And we need to, remember to give credit where credit is due and tip our hats to those that died literally trying to protect you and I. So thank you again, Telise.
Thank you, Brian.
So we had my co-host, for those of you that are joining, my co-host had a family emergency thing, so he can't join tonight. So give Charles your prayers as well for his family situation. And anyway, well, let's talk a little bit more about, have you ever been to Arlington by any chance? Have you ever seen one of those?
I have. I go out there. I didn't go this year. I used to go out there every year and participate in the ceremonies that they have out there for this, Memorial Day and our veterans. They did have a virtual type celebration out there, and I'm not sure if they had any family members to be able to come out there, but I felt like I did not need to be an extra person out there when the families were to come out there.
Well, yeah, because we still have to keep that social distance thing.
Yes.
Makes sense.
They have been doing, Shelby County has been doing, the Veterans Affairs have been doing the memorial celebration out there with putting flags on the grounds and having a beautiful ceremony, which consists of honoring all of our fallen soldiers. And I was told that this year that they were going to honor some of our fallen residents that have passed away from this virus this year.
Oh, wow.
So
what a good idea.
that would have been great. I'm sure it has been recorded, so I'm going to go and see if I can find it. But our veterans, that's one thing that our residents, everyone in the world, they respect our veterans. And we learned a lesson one time when we did not honor our veterans when they came back home. That was during the Vietnam era. And we learned from that no matter how we feel about the situation or not want to participate, these young women and men went over up under the guidance of our leaders, and they did their job. And they did the best job that they could do. So I hope that we never will get in a situation that we do not honor our soldiers when they return back home that we keep honoring our veterans that are still with us, and we also honor the fallen soldiers, because it's not an easy job. It's not like we can go to the McDonald's, so they can go to McDonald's when they get hungry. They have to eat what's there. And sometimes it's nothing but beans and water, or something even less. The conditions are not good. They don't have the bathrooms like we have bathrooms.
Mhm.
We don't have, sometimes they don't have the running waters after in the fields that they need. So what they're doing, they're washing their hands from a container that someone else is pouring over in their hands to wash.
Wow.
So it's not what I would say luxury type job, but it's a job that has to be done.
Amen.
It's
And
a
I
job.
also thought, look, just a side note on that, what you were talking about on the disrespecting in a way the people protesting, I guess, is what they did too with the soldiers coming back from Vietnam and things like that. I don't know if the people really understood what they were protesting. So they weren't really, the soldiers did, they don't really have a choice. They don't ask the soldiers' opinion, do they?
No,
Do
they do not.
you guys want to do this? I mean,
No.
they had to sacrifice and go into the most dangerous places and watch all their friends get hurt or something that might have happened to them, and sacrifice after sacrifice. And even if you weren't for the logic of the war, the way it was going, it's
Mhm.
unfair to blame the soldier. The
Exactly.
soldier is just that's like saying, I don't like the way this house was built, let's throw away the hammer. That doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense. They were the tools, but they didn't come up with the concept of let's go to war with Vietnam.
Right. And
And
during that time, these young people were drafted. They had no
exactly.
choice.
Yeah,
They were drafted into the situation. When I joined the military, I had a choice, but these
exactly.
people did not. And I'm sure I think that's when the draft system stopped. They were talking about bringing it back, but I think that's the last time that they used that draft system.
That's a good
Um,
point. So it's never been used. I don't
it hasn't
remember
been
it in my
used. It
lifetime.
hasn't been used since then.
Okay.
We have individuals that just volunteer. After 911, we had just an uptick of
Yeah.
individuals that wanted to be a part of the military, wanted to be a part of the solution to make sure that the United States of America remained free and safe. So
Amen.
um, we had a lot of people, young, old, and in between, that raised their hand and joined the military or re-entered the military during that time. So I just have a lot of respect for individuals that participated in the military. I just do, because, like I said, they believe in our country, and they believe in keeping our country safe, and they believe in making sure that the rights that we have do not go away.
Amen.
And so
And
I
besides, even
have a lot of respect.
if you back segue to what we were talking about with the Vietnam thing, can you imagine there were soldiers that were drafted and they were totally against the war. They didn't want to
Exactly.
do this. How
Exactly.
big a sacrifice did they do when they put their life on the line and all of what they thought to the side
Yes.
to
Yes.
do a job that the
Yes.
country is ordered, but also that there was a duty to do. You
Exactly.
you have a duty to follow what your commander tells you what to do, regardless if you like it, right? You don't
Right.
really get that option to say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't agree with it. You don't
Right.
get that option in the military, do we?
No, you do not. And that war, lives was lost.
Yes.
Uh, Wars that we have had recently, Desert Storm and the different
Mhm.
wars that we've had, our young men are coming back and they're injured without limbs, where their minds are not where it should be, or just suffering, and still alive. The Vietnam War, we lost a lot of soldiers, but this war, they came back, and like I said, they're without limbs. They mentally challenged, PTSD. Just a lot of things are going on with our young people and older people that came back after these different wars, this war that we just had, or this.
Well, can I ask you to dive into that for a second? Would you mind? I'm really curious because I never heard of, I've heard of PTSD, but it wasn't like a common thing. And we never heard of the issues that we're hearing about from this war. Like on these recent wars, you know, we're talking about Afghanistan and some of these others, they're coming back so mentally, what's the word? Inflicted? Maybe.
Right.
Is that different, or it's just something that's happened even in the Vietnam War and stuff like that? It's just now we're actually.
It happened in the Vietnam War, and because you would the night dreams or nights, they would wake up yelling in their sleep. But most of the time with the Vietnam War, those soldiers died. They saw death.
Yeah.
With this war, they saw their brothers and sisters with limbs missing, arms missing, children being blown up. So they have, I know death is death,
Yeah.
but with this war that we just had, these individual people that came back, they're seeing the bloody, gutty stuff, like limbs and children and women coming to harm them, and children coming to harm them.
Yeah.
And they're having to go in and do things that normally they would never think about doing or having to do. So it's a different type of experience, but PTSD is the same, where you're being afflicted by flashbacks or things that you saw or heard while in the war.
So do you have any issues with that yourself?
I do not. And the reason I do not is because maybe I need to say, I'm not going to say I do not, because I did have to talk to someone. I was in right close to the end, where the soldiers were coming back and these young guys had no limbs, and 18 and 19-year-olds. And when I first started over at the hospital, these young men was just screaming to get back. I want to go back down front. They called it, I'm having one of my moments, but they wanted to go back to the war. But as the war went on, I started seeing the young men, and they were crying to go home.
Wow.
So remember this last war, they said that some of the soldiers had 2 and 3 rotations.
Yeah.
Downrange, that's the word I'm looking for, where they stayed over in this longer than some of the other wars that was in progress. But this war, these young guys, when they first came back or in the hospital, they were gung-ho. I need to get back to my company. I need to get back to my team. But at the end, they were ready to go home. And I saw some, horrible injuries where young people lost, and I keep saying limbs, legs, arms, sides of faces. It was pretty interesting. And in the ICU.
Imagine. So you may not know this, but my dad was in the Army for a number of years, and he was drafted as well, I think, is kind of how that works. So, but he served his time in the Army and got out, and so later on, I'm all of, what am I, 22, and I'm gonna go in the Army, right?
Okay.
So only because Dad did, right? I know nothing about it at all.
Right.
The recruiter's trying to talk me into it, and in the Army at the time, it was all about this test you have to take, right?
Yeah.
It's going to kind of dictate where you go, what you do. And
Yes.
apparently I guessed very, very well on this test. It was just, there's a lot of them I didn't know, and I just guessed at them. Apparently I guessed well. And he goes, well, you can be whatever you want to be. You name it. And of course, what do I know? I know nothing. And uh, so I said, okay, well, what's the Army's version of a SEAL? And he goes, well, we have Green Beret. And I said, let's do that. That sounds good. And so
Uh-huh.
that's all the thought process that I put behind
Uh,
this. Right? And so I'm getting ready to go on the bus the next day. Right, the next morning, I have to put my foot on the bus, and Dad sat down with me, and I think I was 21 at the time, and he popped open a beer. You know, he's gonna have the little talk before I go off tomorrow. And at the time, I was doing a lot with church, and I kind of was toying with that or becoming a pastor or a chaplain, and anyway, so my dad asked me a question, and he says, so Brian, I got no doubt, you know, you put your heart into it, you'll be able to do it. And obviously their training is top notch, and they'll get you to be whatever it is that you're wanting to be. But let me just ask you, at some point, someone's going to put a gun in your hand with what you're wanting to do. It'll be most likely a sniper rifle, right? And they're going to say, okay, Brian, I want you to kill that person. So I asked him, I said, so are we like at war or something? He goes, no. So you don't get to ask these questions now.
That's right.
You don't get to justify how
Right.
it works. So when he tells you, I'm going to hand you a knife, I want you to go kill this person. You, from what I was wanting to do as a Green Beret, I'd have to just follow orders. And he said, you think you'll be able to do that? And I said, well, if I could justify it, like if that was like in today's world, if that was Saddam Hussein, yeah, no problem, you know, because it would save a lot of people. I get it. Hitler, yeah, you know, that's easy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But somebody I don't know for a reason that I can't justify, probably not.
PTSD. That's where they come back.
And so that's what Dad says exactly. That's why I think you need to rethink your logic, because I know they're going to ask you to do something you morally are not going to contend with. And
That's right.
your training can be great and all that stuff, but it's going to boil down to that. And will you do it? And I couldn't say yes at the time. I regret in some ways that I didn't have that opportunity, or I didn't, because I'm like you in a way. I love serving. I love making that difference. I love going into the fire, not leaving it. I love helping. And my heart goes to all of those who actually stepped on that bus.
We needed that chaplain.
And I didn't even know that was even an option.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that as an option.
Yes.
See, I would have probably done it then.
Needed
If
that
I would have
chaplain.
been smart enough to know that, I should have
Yes.
done that. That would have been smart. But at the time I didn't. And so I never did get to go into the military, but I always had a part of a regret because I did. And I think as much as I always committed my life to something I really believed in, I think that would have been a cool opportunity.
Well, we had that piece where they trained us on the M16s as nurses and doctors and the healthcare professional. And yes, and also as an officer, I was trained on the 45.
Okay.
And what the training
even after basics, not just the basic. Did you have to go through basics?
No, every year you had to qualify.
Really?
Qualify on the M16 and qualify on the 45. I did.
Look out, guys. She's bad now.
And how they taught it to us. They knew we were service-oriented people, nurses, doctors, and they told us, because I said, I don't need that gun. I don't need to do that. I don't need to know how to shoot a gun. I'm not going to be out there shooting anybody. And the young people, I always call them young people because they were younger than I was, would tell me, if the enemy came in here, in your hospital, and wanted to kill your soldiers, what would you do? Wow. How would you defend them if they can't defend themselves? Wow. And they made a lot of sense to me. That's when it dawned on me, I need to know how to use my M16. And I need to know how to use my 45. Because if I have a patient, if I have a patient They cannot move. I have a
Wow.
patient that I am responsible for. I am responsible for them. So I need to know how to protect them. And the only way I'm going to be able to protect them if the enemy comes in,
It's a
it's
great
them or
point.
us.
That is a great point. That's a
It's
great
them or
point.
us.
Well, I have to get
I was
my
like you,
hats off.
Brian. Oh no, I can't do that. Oh no. And they had a talk with all of us. And it dawned on us. Okay. Also, another thing that I didn't think I needed. As I went through this process, I didn't think I need to learn how to drive one of those trucks.
One of the big old trucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you
Yes.
learn that too?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
So they
How do you get your patients moved if the enemy is coming? And all of the drivers, all of them, those are the men, all of the drivers are not there to get you moved and your patients moved.
That's a good
So
point.
those are the scenarios they gave us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think of that. You don't think about that kind of stuff all the time. Well,
oh yeah. We didn't think of it. We was just as naive as can be until they put it in our face.
Well, you're a highly trained weapon. No, she's in an amazing 23 years as a nurse. And you retired. That's amazing. You served and served and served.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if I'm allowed to bring it up. Didn't you get a letter lately? Am I allowed to say anything about that?
I did. I received a letter to pull me back up to go to help out if the need be during this crisis that's going on right now. I don't know how good I would have been, but I still have my license. I have not let my license expire. I'm a licensed RN here in the state of Tennessee, and they have a multi-state piece that I can go and practice it in other parts of the United States. Also, every nurse, I feel like if you're still of sound mind, and my grandchildren probably say, Grandma, you're not of sound mind. But I feel like as long as you are alert enough or able to move, you should keep your license. Just because you're retired, you never know what may happen. Yeah. Just like you see this crisis now. And I have people calling me every day asking me questions about certain things. Should I do this? Should I do that? And if I didn't have my current license, I know some people do practice or do things without their license, but they should not be. They should have their license, and they should also be doing certain things to update their knowledge about what's going on right now. The medication changes, the different treatment changes, different thing changes. And as an individual, you should be able to keep yourself abreast of the changes that's going on.
Well, that's good. That's a good point. And you know, it's what's so cool about what the Army's done to prepare you. I see you as so much of a leader as well. So that's one of the big attributes that I see a lot of times on people who have come out of the military and that kind of thing, is that their mentality is just different. Mm-hmm. And they can usually accomplish goals, and they can accomplish things. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a survival. And like I said, as a healthcare professional, I had patients that I was responsible for. And as an officer in the military, I had other individual employees or individual soldiers that I was responsible for, because the medic was up under my supervision. I had the LPNs up in my supervision. When we didn't have certain levels of doctors, they would move the senior nurses up to function as the doctors. So I had RNs up under me. So I've had quite a bit of leadership where I had to either you do it or you're going to be left behind. And a lot of people are depending on you to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
military really helped me tremendously, but also I tell all the young people now, I say, go in and get your college, get your college, so you
Get
can
it
go.
first? Do you recommend doing it first?
I like for them to go in and get their college first. Now, if they can't, that's okay. There's, some support people out there to help them through. But I like people to go get their college degree.
Well, at
And the
least
reason
at
I
least get
do,
your 2 year, right? Because that's free now.
yes,
In Tennessee, it is. I'm not
yes.
sure if it is
I
everywhere.
think they need to get their 2 years at least.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if they can and they want to go straight on in, I have quite a few young people that went straight in and they did just fine. I have a young man that finished Lane College in 4 years. And I kept telling him, I said, you can't go in until you finish. Can't go in until you finish. And he, as soon as he graduated, 2 weeks afterwards, he was at the recruiter's office and he called me and he said, Miss Turner, I'm down here. I need you to come on down here and look at these papers. And I said, okay, all right, I'll come down and look at the papers. But I just feel like I don't like let me see, I can't say that I like some of the systems over in other countries where you have to do so much time in the military, because the military is not for everybody. It really isn't. And I think if you're going to be a part of the military, you need to want to do that. I really do that way.
Well, thank you so very much. You've been an absolute pleasure to have on as a guest, and I want to
thank you, Brian.
to you everything that you've done for this country. And remember, guys, it's Memorial Day. Give a memory, give a prayer if you're into prayer, something to all those who gave so much of their life just for you and just for me, and they don't even know. We saw before a couple of years ago, Telise and I didn't even know each other, and she still gave 23 years of her life just to help me and my family. So, Telise, I want to thank you so very much.
I want to thank you too, and thank you for what you're doing for our community with your program and looking out for our children, because I don't care what anyone say, those children are our future. Those children are the ones that's going to hand me a pill when I need it or in the hospital. Those children are the ones going to help me walk. We need to make sure that we keep our children safe. And if we see anything, I mean anything that doesn't look right, you need to say something.
Say something.
God give us that sense. God talks to us all the time. And when he puts something on us, we need to act. And if he does something that's wrong, we need to act.
Amen. Amen to that. Well, so we got a couple two more things we're going to do just before we close.
Okay.
I know you've got to go in about 5 minutes, right? So
okay.
I just wanted to, so Charles was supposed to be doing a song as a special tribute day that we were going to do today. And then I got a buddy of mine, a country music artist named Duke Henry, who was going to do something for us today. And unfortunately, Charles, of course, like I said earlier in the show, he had a family emergency, and go figure the timing on this, but so did Duke Henry. So Duke Henry's now in the hospital with his dad. I was just seeing how that was going. So so let's give a prayer and shout out to them. So in the meantime, I kind of decided to go ahead and try to throw something together. Now this is thrown together, so no laughing. This isn't going to be this musically awesome performance, but I did want to give my heart out. I can sing fairly decently, so I figured let me go ahead and sing something myself. And I learned this song. I've known the song, I've heard it and sang it several times on the radio, but I've never played it or tried to sing it. So if I mess up, y'all just have to give me some grace there, would you? So this song is called Where the Stars and Stripes and the Eagles Fly by Aaron Tippin. Let's see if I can remember how this goes. If you ask me where I come from, here's what I tell everyone. I was born by God's dear grace
in an extraordinary place where the stars and stripes and the eagle flies. It's a big old land with countless dreams. Happiness ain't out of reach. Hard work pays off the way it should. Yeah, I've seen enough to know that we've got it good. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. There's a lady that stands in a harbor for what we believe. There's a bell that still echoes the price that it costs to be free. Well, I pledge allegiance to this flag. If that bothers you, well, that's too bad. But if you got pride and you're proud you do, hey, we can use a few more like me and you. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle flies. Well, it ain't the only place on earth, but it's the only place that I prefer to hug my wife and raise my kids in the same way that my daddy did. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle flies. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle flies.
Great.
Actually got through it. Hey,
Beautiful.
how about that? How about that?
Well, thank you all so much. That was just a quick little shout out, just a little tribute for all of those who sacrificed, gave their lives for me, and those that are still in the military, those that are retired like Telise. Just my hats off and my prayers to you all. Just the world's quickest prayer for that real quick, if you don't mind, Telise.
Yes.
Lord, thank you so much, so much for the opportunity of this show today. Thank you, Lord, for having Telise. Thank you for all that you've done through her life and all that you're still doing through her life. Thank you for bringing her on the show to share her heart and her passion and the great things that you've done so that she can be a leader and an inspiration to those that are going to follow behind her. Lord, just thank you for all the opportunities we have here in the United States and America, and even outside of that, the influences we're able to make outside of that. We're able to go to other countries and help and support. Help us to be a nation, Lord, that you would be proud of, and help us to be a nation that I am proud to be a member of because of what we represent, what we do, and help us just to continue to shine your light to everyone around us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Again, Telise, love you. Thank you so much. You're a dear friend. And you have yourselves a blessed night. And guys, tomorrow we will see you again right here on Two Pastors Get Their Guests, Keeping It Real. And hopefully we'll have Charles back on with us. I know he had a family emergency today, but hopefully he'll get back on us with us today or tomorrow. And we will see you tomorrow. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Brian.
Bless you.
I turned to girls and fell for Bonnie Lou, but she liked Bobby Thompson and it tore my heart in two. But then I met Lori Ann and she said she liked me. She held my hand and just like that, Bonnie Lou was history. Faster than a teardrop, love can make the pain stop. Quicker than a heart breaks, love